All right, people, how we doing? I wanted to talk about this whole Rolesville High School situation that happened in North Carolina, where this black girl was slammed by the school security officer. I want to talk about this. First of all, this kind of stuff happens all the time. Okay, it happened when I was in high school. It's been happening for years. You know, a lot of these school police officers, these school security officers and stuff, um, they are, a lot of times they do get physical with the students. You know, I do believe that they are trained that way. I believe that, you know, and a lot of times, I guess they may feel that they have to do that because the students, a lot of times, high school kids are the same size as adults. Okay, high school kids pretty much are adults. And a lot of these kids are, you know, are big. It's not like these are little kids. So a lot of them, they, you know, I guess they feel in order to break up these fights, and this particular girl supposedly was involved in a fight. You know, I saw that in the news article. You know, um, a lot of times, in order to break up these fights, they have to get physical with these kids. You know, so this girl gets slammed, the whole 9 yards. And it's interesting that this happened in North Carolina because I remember last year a similar incident happened in South Carolina where a girl got slammed and it was a big thing in the news. You know, everybody was talking about it, you know, yada, yada, yada. If it wasn't last year, it was the year before last. Towards the end of the year before last, I believe. Um, Now, of course, the girl's mother, I believe, was also in the news article, and she was upset about it. Okay. Now, my thing is this. This is the, you know, well, first they also interviewed a white lady who I believe was a parent of a teacher at the school, and she said, yeah, it was messed up, but I would like to see in the video what happened before the incident. You know, so see, white people are not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Okay, y'all already got to know that. Okay, so to you, this is, you know, this is a tragic incident that this happened to this black girl, that this type of stuff happens to black kids, but these white folks are walking around, they're looking at your kids like, well, there's a possibility your kid may have caused this incident. Okay. So what you have to do though is when you look at these types of incidents, the incidents, there's two solutions. There's a practical solution and then there's a theoretical solution. Okay. And I want to give both of them. First of all, the practical solution would be for the parents to get more involved in these schools and to get more involved in what happens in these schools. You know, I think a lot of these parents, a lot of black parents feel that their job ends when they drop the kid off at the school. Okay, they don't really pay attention to what's going on in these schools. They don't really pay attention to what the administration, you know, what type of disciplinary measures are, you know, the administration is passing in these schools. They don't pay attention to the kind of laws that these schools are you know, these schools and these cities are passing now. Like in Missouri, I think they're going to make it a felony for kids to fight in schools, which is crazy. That's crazy. You know what I mean? But this is in the state of Missouri. Okay, but the particular incident here, this happened in North Carolina. You black parent, what's wrong with black parents getting together and just forming some type of watchdog group that goes and watches these children in these schools and goes and, I mean, watches these security officers and stuff in these schools. Okay, watching the training that these security officers go through in these schools. Okay, starting some type of reform movement, you know, along those lines. You can set up a website and you can easily set up a national watchdog group, you know, and you can post videos and post news stories and post messages to keep everybody posted on what's going on. You know, and it could be like a watchdog group for school security officers, you know, and that kind of thing. And the parents can keep tabs on stuff like that. That's one of the best practical solutions. You're gonna have to try to reform the way these security officers are trained. They should not be allowed to just pick a kid up and slam them on the ground to where they can get an injury. There should be other ways and strategies and methods that they can be able to use, you know what I mean, to diffuse these types of situations, or to take care of these types of situations without physically harming these kids. Also, now let me go ahead and get to the theoretical solution. Now, the theoretical solution is a very simple one, and it might sound cliche, but the fact of the matter is, if black people really want to eliminate stuff like this, and they really want to create an environment where stuff like this does not happen anymore, or you have much more control over whether or not it happens, is to just go ahead and create your own schools. There, I said it. Black people will have to get together, put money together, and build their own schools to educate their own black children. It's just that simple. It may not necessarily always be feasible to rely on the public education system. For these kids and stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? So I think a lot of times what happens with these kids is that that they go to these schools. The schools have a predominantly white staff. There's probably very few black teachers. All the teachers are white. All the security officers are white. The administration is white. A lot of times they can't really relate to these kids, or they just kind of look at these kids as numbers. They're not really concerned about these kids. They're just going and working there because this is how they get their paycheck. You know what I mean? And if that is what the mentality is, then you have to be real about that. You have to be realistic about that. Nothing is gonna make, as far as I'm concerned, nothing is gonna make white teachers be concerned with black people and black people's children. I mean, that's just what it is. There's nothing you can do is going to make them. You have to be the one that is concerned about your own children. You have to be proactive and decide what it is that you want to do, what is the best option for black children moving forward. And one of the best ways to do that is to have your own schools. Okay. In Chicago, they have the Jalen Rose Academy. Out here in the Los Angeles area, we have the Marcus Garvey Academy, stuff like that. Of course, Umar Johnson is working on a school himself, but that's going to be the only solution that I can think of. If you do not want your children to be disrespected like this, build your own schools and hire your own security staff. Train your own security staff for how you want them to handle the kids. You know what I mean? If you don't want white people handling your kids like that, fine, then just hire an all black security staff and train them the way you want them to be trained. You know what I mean? That's the only solution that I can think of. But those are the solutions, man. Either parents get more involved with what these school security officers are doing, or you put more resources into eventually building up and having your own schools, and stop sending your black children to the public education system. Because the public education system has a specific policy towards black kids. Oftentimes, and that policy oftentimes leads to what cases like what happened with this girl. So anyways, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. Y'all can leave comments, subscribe, let me know what y'all think about this. Peace.